Then about 65 years ago, we had the post-industrial revolution. This led to tertiary economic activity, focused on services and information, and more on marketing. New products changed our society. For example, credit cards. They are pure information and service backed by a financial institution that makes money on your transactions. Think of how credit cards impact us. We hardly ever pay with cash anymore. Now we use credit cards or our cell phones to pay. With the post-industrial revolution, activities in the knowledge sector grew more important. This period saw very high growth in the demand for and consumption of information-based services, from mutual funds to tax consultants to software and call centers. People who work in office buildings and schools and universities, hospitals and doctors' offices, theaters, real estate, business and professional services, accounting and brokerage firms all perform tertiary economic activity. Unlike primary and secondary economic functions that are still performed by some workers, many tertiary economic activities can also be outsourced because they are not necessarily localized and dependent on proximity to physical resources or the environment. With services and information activities, marketing became much more important. Now we had branded services, and brands were becoming an intrinsic part of people's lives. With the digital revolution, we saw quaternary economic activity. Quaternary economic activity occurs when things are done for their own sake. For example, hobbies or starting up a band, creating art, writing your own blog, creating or maintaining your own website or social networking page. These activities generate economic activity, but for the person doing it, the activity is mostly an expense. Also, quaternary economic activities include services that focus on the creation, rearrangement, and interpretation of new and existing ideas, data interpretation, and the use and evaluation of new technology. So things like marketing analytics, customer analytics, and other forms of data analytics would also fall under this type of economic activity. Notice that all the other types of activities are still performed, such as agriculture and manufacturing. But due to technological advances, we need fewer workers to do each of these activities. And many of the businesses that make money off quaternary economic activities, such as Google, Facebook, and Twitter, employ very few people given the amount of economic activity they represent. Because people's creation of material, such as someone who makes a YouTube video series, costs nothing to that firm, or because many businesses in the digital economy create value by analyzing traces of activities done by others. For example, their web browsing and search history data, or data about their driving or energy use, or data about their locations based on mobile phone tracking. In the digital economy, marketing has become extremely important to encourage consumers to use digital services that create data of value to companies in the digital economy, such as loading images up to Instagram, or downloading an app onto their mobile phone so that the consumer can be tracked. Digital marketing is important to create digital products, distribute them, and monetize them in the digital economy. And online and mobile marketing communications has become the most important way that many brands communicate with their target markets. Paralleling this economic history is a history of increasing numeracy and more powerful computing. Numeracy is the ability to understand and work with numbers. Numeracy recognizes the importance of thinking quantitatively and expressing relationships in numeric form. Throughout history, we've had an ongoing search for thinking machines. After the agricultural revolution, since people no longer were hunters and gatherers only, they developed mathematics, algebra, and geometry. With the printing press, scientific and mathematical texts began to circulate and led to the development of higher mathematics, such as calculus. And following the Industrial Revolution, Charles Babbage developed his digital analytic engine, and Ada Lovelace developed stepwise sequences of operations for solving mathematical problems, which has led Ada Lovelace to often be referred to as the first programmer. American inventor and businessman Herman Hollerith developed punch cards. ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator, Analyzer, and Computer, was the world's first practical large-scale digital computer developed in 1945. Modern PCs and even your mobile phone far exceed the capacity and speed of the huge ENIAC machines that were based on vacuum tubes and required 6 women operators to flip switches and replace tubes to change calculating algorithms. But all of this has led to where we are today, the rise of digital marketing, and it's a very exciting place. And I hope you will enjoy this journey as we learn more about digital marketing.